Hey guys, and Happy New Year, and welcome back to the channel. So it's been a while since I uploaded anything on YouTube. Reason being, I found a new job, which takes pretty much all my time. It's a good thing. I've got steady income finally. The bad thing, yeah, as you figure out, I don't have much time to dedicate to anything else, and I've got other commitments in life. So unfortunately, YouTube kind of went on a backbench for a while. So, but it doesn't mean that I haven't been working on cars. The RX-8 has been fixed. It's became my daily now. I took it for a drift day. It didn't went well. It didn't go well, but I learned a lot, and that's the important thing. The car, I mean, the RX-8 is still driving fine. But yeah, it's me. It's not the car. It's more about my skill. Plans for the channel. This video is going to be an introduction for a new project car. Yes, I sold my GT86, nice car, but I just like building stuff, and I bought myself well, this is a 2001 Lexus IS200, but as you can see, there's a very obvious sign that it's not a stock car. So I've never had a turbo car before, so this is still kind of project car. I got it as a non-runner, usual stuff. From a guy who couldn't insure it, so he bought it already turboed, but the car had a lot of issues, and yeah, the price is too good to just pass it. So I bought it in December. I haven't touched it since then, pretty much. Well, I did touch it. The car is slow, it's in a limp mode, it's got rust. Yes, I was told that it's only surface rust, but guess what? It's never just surface. So I'll show you around and see. Basically, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But the plan for this series, I suppose, is to learn as much as I can about turbo cars, tidy this Lexus up, make it run and drive fine, have fun with it, and probably I'll have to sit time cars, probably not. I don't know the long term plans for this car, but it's going to be my guinea pig for all the experiments with turbo, standalone ECUs, wiring, all that stuff that I'm not good at, but I always wanted to learn about it. So I hope that it's going to be a nice experience for you and for me. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyway, I just don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna post more content on the RX-8, and as I said, there's gonna be a separate episode on how I went to my first drift day. All that stuff. RX-8 is wonderful car, really love it. The only downside is, well, I mean, the fuel economy is just rubbish. The good thing, I don't have to commute to my new work, so it's kind of okay-ish for now. I also actually bought another Lexus, so I have 3 cars right now. There's a Lexus from Copart, same IS200, but it's sport, so it's got an LSD diff, and yeah, that's gonna be my daily. I'm not gonna do much with that. It's sort of a salvage title, but to be honest, it's got like a few scrapes on the bumpers, and because it's an old car, it was written off as a category N. And just for references, this car has seen a lot of stuff done to it, so it's gonna be great to have another car side by side, just for reference, kinda. And yeah, so without further ado, let me give you a tour around this wonderful luxury car. So first thing first, let's open the thing. Oh, it weighs a ton. It's literally the most, yeah, it's the heaviest bonnet I've ever lifted. Yeah, this thing will have to go. It weighs a ton. I don't know what it's made of. I mean, steel, I suppose, but it's just really heavy. And as you can see, I'm gonna bring more light. That's a wonderful slow 1GFE. FE stands for fuel economy, which is, I cannot say whether it's good or not. From what I read, it's horrendous, and it's a weak engine. I think with a turbo you can push it for up to like 300-ish. After that, it's very known territory. Well, it is it is very known territory. They do blow, but these engines are cheap. Parts are ubiquitous, and I think this is going to be a good learning platform for me and you if you are interested. I know that it's not the very desirable JDM car, and I have my own doubts about it. I really don't like the way these cars look stock. They're boring, but there are a bunch of good examples with some nice aero wheels, suspension. These cars can look fantastic. So that's a long term, I suppose, thing. So for now, the car has no power. When you floor it, the gas pedal goes on like the first 90% of the travel. There is absolutely no response, and it's due to the limp mode and this kind of fancy throttle body that has a combination of drive-by-wire and your standard cable thing that goes to the pedal. I'm gonna make a dedicated video about that, and hopefully we can solve that. But yeah, for now I just need to figure out why the ECU thinks that it's in the limp mode, and there is a bunch of things that it can be. Like this is the wiring that's been done to it to wire the it's called the Viewer Cut Defender. If I'm not mistaken, basically what it does, it stops the car from cutting the fuel. Basically, you kind of tell the ECU that the car is getting more air, so it will just let it dump more fuel. Hence, your turbo is going to be fine. The turbo, when it came, the manifold was loose. Literally, it was just wobbling around. I tightened it up. The gasket from the feed line to the turbo wasn't there, even though I later found it in the boot. So all this area was covered in oil, which is a recipe for for fire. And as well, sorry for the lights, as you know, I have a history with fires, so I'd rather avoid any, even though I bought a couple of extinguishers around the garage, but still, that's not an ideal thing. There are lots of things like that. All the piping is just, let's say, loose. The brackets, well, they do their job. They hold the intercooler in place, but it's just bad. It's got some Chinese turbo. Let me show you how the V-band is looking. So it just snapped, and whoever did this, they just welded the V-band clamp to the downpipe. Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna criticize anyone or judge or say anything. I know sometimes you just do things temporarily, just to do them properly in the future, but you never come around, so it's one of those things. Another thing, the Westgate actuator, it doesn't have C-clamp, so it was held by can opener, like, you know, that ring that you pull to open your beer bottle or soda or whatever you drink. So yeah, again, one of those nice fixes. The headlights weren't connected at all. I polished them up a little bit. I reconnected everything, so everything is working. Horn wasn't working at all, even though it's just like as simple as just plugging if you connect this back in. This is an interesting solution for what's that? It's oh, damn it. Hydro for your steering. And this is, I just assumed that there was a cooler of some sort. Yeah, there's some cutoffs. Yeah. Yeah, there was just some intercooler, not an intercooler, a cooler to cool the power steering fluid. Yeah, someone decided to just leave it, I guess. What else? The return line from the turbo, surprisingly for me, goes all the way around the engine and drains onto like the opposite side. No idea why. I mean, it could have been just so much easier to put a return line on this side. That's probably something that I'm gonna redo in the future. There is no fuel return line, even though it's kind of a thing. So that's another things on my to-do list is to do the plumbing for the return line. Surprisingly, again, there are all the fittings and the fuel pressure regulator in the boat. So whoever did the turbo was planning doing it properly, but probably never got around. The body-wise condition of it is, well, it's got a Rocket Bunny kind of kit on it, which I kind of like it. I like it more than 350Z Rocket Bunny. Tires, they are chewed up because the previous owner told me that the car came with 30mm spacers and the tire at full lock was rubbing on a lip over there. So he basically trimmed the lip before he did this. The tires seen some damage. The tires itself, they're actually quite good. There's plenty of tread and life in them, so I'm just gonna use them for drifting as spares. Now we are going to the rear end of the car, and this is where it starts, well, it becomes more interesting. Let me show you. Okay, yeah, as you can see, I still don't have power in my garage, which I hope is gonna be rectified this year. But yeah, this is what people call just surface rust, and there is more on the inside. Again, it's sort of easier to repair than on a 350Z. Everything is kind of here, it's not hidden. I don't need to remove the subframe or anything like that. The strut towers are fine. It actually came in the ad. The ad actually claimed that the car is sitting on HKS coilovers. Guess what? They're not HKS. They're my favorite Max spinning rods. They're just bad. They're horrible. If the car was on the ground, I would have showed you how bouncy they are. I don't know, like, I understand that you get what you pay for, but I mean, it's horrible. Like, I'd rather drive stock suspension, just springs, shocks, whatever. The car is bad. It's just awful to drive. Yeah, the exhaust, I'm not gonna even like say anything. I was welding maybe for a week before I set my car on fire, but this is bad. My welds were much better. Yeah, other than that, what else? It's a standard IS200. Oh yeah, that's another interesting way of doing a wide body. So you just cut the, yeah, you can see there is like dirt inside already. You just cut your arches and leave them like that. I don't know, like, why. I understand that not everyone has access to welders or anything, but at least like put a bit of seam sealant of some sort just to like these areas, like here there's a tiny hole in there, but I don't think it's structural. I'm just probably gonna cover it with some seam sealer. As I said, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not very picky or fussy about the way the car is being fixed, especially if it's my car. Also, I think it was in an accident of some sort because it's got like 5 mil of body filler on this side of the wing and all this. That's why I just don't like wide bodies. All this crap is getting stuck to the actual fender, so yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna keep this because, as I said, I sort of like it, the way it looks on the car, because it's already been cut up. I'm gonna leave the kit as is. I will come up with a solution for this problem. Probably I'll just make fenders out of ABS plastic, not fenders, the arch liners of some sort. And yeah, there's also rust in the boot, in the spare wheel well, here in the pockets. I don't remember what they called correctly, but usual places for IS200 to rust. The front of the car is relatively okay. The interior, let me show you the interior, even though it's kind of dark in here. I hope with some light you'll be able to see the interior. It's actually not too bad for 157k. The engine, I think it's has its second engine. The engine, well, at least it's says on the engine cover on 110,000 miles. But I'm not gonna believe it blindly, so let's assume that I have no idea about the state of the engine. It's got some stereo, but it's not working. It smells like an old JDM car. I kind of tried cleaning it, but you can see by the state of seat belts, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just filthy. The headliner was pretty much the same. I scrubbed it a little bit. It still needs a lot of work. Like, you can see the handles. I'm trying to, yeah, hope you can see how bad they are. Yeah, not the best, but again, could have been much worse. And for the money that I got a car for, it's still a good deal. I mean, it's not mint, but it's turbo, even as spare parts. It's a good deal. It also came with the some spares, like the full BN style body kit, front bumper, side skirts, rear bumper. It came with spare headlights, which also surprisingly worth some money. Light, overexposure. Anyway, yeah, it came with some spare parts. Welding, I think Jay and I are gonna weld it, and it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna put some budget suspension, probably like Tane street bases or something like that on it. I will try to fix the ECU issue, or like try to figure out why the car thinks that it's in the limp mode. I'll try to come up with an idea for mode for the throttle body. Basically just to make it a drive-by-wire thing. And probably in a couple of months, I'm gonna buy an Speeduino. It's a standalone ECU made, like, as you figured, based on Arduino, but it uses Tuner Studio. I think it's the same software for mega squirt. So yeah, I always wanted to learn how to tune a car, and that's going to be interesting stuff for me to learn, and just basically get rid of all the piggybacks, all that stuff, and make this car run on a standalone ECU. And this way we'll have all the control over it, everything basically. But there are going to be some learning to do for me and you in the far future, and I still kind of debate it. I'd like to swap an MX-5 engine and turbo it in the Lexus, solely because it's much lighter. I think it's 40 kilos lighter than 1G FE. You might say, yeah, dude, but it's like 150, maybe even less than that horsepower engine, but it has a huge aftermarket support. You can find anything on those engines, and they're still relatively cheap. So 300-ish horsepower engine should be just fine for this car. And because we're gonna shave a lot of weight from it, again, I'm gonna keep the interior, at least the front seats and carpets. I'm not sure about the rear seat, but yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't want to turn it into like a proper race car, but at the same time, I want to dub into that fabrication kind of thing, and there's going to be more about that. Also, there's going to be more content about Jay's 350Z and just our stuff from his unit, because there were a lot of interesting moments where we struggled with his car and we just didn't film it. Hopefully with a new camera. Actually hope you like, even though like the lighting is still shite, you like the quality. And yeah, as I said, I'm gonna film more. Some of it will be more of a how-to formats. Other is gonna be just like lifestyle blog, just to have certain moments saved for the future for us to watch and laugh at. And yeah, hopefully next year I'm gonna do more drift practice. That's gonna be my goal. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the RX-8. I like the RX-8, but as I said, the most crucial thing with that is overheating. I hit like 106 degrees after like 2 minutes of not even drifting, like trying to go sideways. So heat management is something that we might need to solve on that car. And again, I don't know how long the engine will last, solely because I bought it like with no guarantees whatsoever. It's still a miracle that it runs at all. Have no issue. Like there are tiny little issues, but the car runs and drives fine. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a long one, over 20 something minutes, but hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and Happy New Year.